welcome back to the Wild Panda. So I finally did it. I booked my round trip tickets to Japan, going there in first class. 2 tickets for me and my boyfriend to go in April 2020, first class from Chicago O'Hare to Tokyo, and then coming back in economy. And this is how I did it. So I had actually been planning a trip to Japan since like 4 years ago when they first announced that the 2020 Summer Olympics will be in Tokyo. And 2020 just also happens to be the year that I turned 30. And since it's such a once in a lifetime milestone birthday, I kind of used that as my excuse to take this YOLO trip to go to Japan. So when I first came up with this plan to go to Japan, I was actually going to save up money over the course of a few years to purchase round trip tickets to Tokyo and then also to pay for, accommodations and hotel stays in Tokyo. That was until earlier this year when I discovered Ask Sebi and the Credit Shifu on YouTube. Ever since then, and ever since I started watching their videos, I've become really inspired to actually start trying to run these setups. I've actually kind of inadvertently been running a Chase setup because in college I had the Chase Freedom. After I graduated college, I had the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And then I actually got the World of Hyatt card. And I had been using my Chase points and transferring them to the Hyatt in order to book free hotel nights at the Hyatt. And I've been taking a lot of trips with friends, with siblings on these Hyatt points. I would just travel on Southwest and book a round trip ticket with cash and then have the hotel nights for free. So for me, I had always valued hotel nights more than paying with points on a plane ticket. And that was because I figure one round trip plane ticket, and I had only been traveling domestically. So a domestic round trip ticket is probably about $300, $400 max. A hotel night could be anywhere from $150 to $300 a night. If you travel somewhere and stay a week, those hotel nights can really add up. And that's why I found more value in transferring my points to Hyatt and using those for free nights instead of using the points to purchase a round trip ticket. And like I said, that all changed when I discovered you can actually use a reasonable amount of points, I would say, to book first class tickets on an international flight. When I discovered that, it totally blew my mind and thus began my journey towards this first class trip to Tokyo. So how I did it, I actually started moving from a Chase setup to an American Express setup. Back in May, I opened the American Express Platinum card, and then a month later, I opened the American Express Gold card. So through those 2 cards, I actually earned about 125,000 membership reward points from the welcome bonus. And then my Chase Sapphire Preferred card, like I mentioned earlier, I actually opened that right when I graduated college, and that was 5 years ago in 2014. So I had actually never known you could downgrade cards, but since I found out, I actually downgraded that Sapphire card and then opened a new one. I waited about a month after I downgraded before I opened the new one. But I opened a new Sapphire Preferred card recently and then also got that 60,000 increased sign-up offer. So through some spending, I accumulated about 166,000 membership reward points with American Express, and I got about 100,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points. So with some research, I found out that the best way to book a round-trip first-class ticket on ANA is actually through Virgin Atlantic. So when you book an award ticket with ANA, it's required to be a round-trip ticket. Now, just because it's round-trip doesn't mean it has to be from one airport back to the same airport. It's actually from one country to Tokyo and then back in the same country at any airport. So you can fly out of Chicago, come back through JFK, or come back through LAX. Either way, it works. That's still considered a round trip. So since ANA requires that you book round trip, that kind of opens you to more availabilities in terms of finding first class. So if you were to book an award ticket through ANA, it actually costs about 150,000 points, as you can see here, because North America is considered Zone 6, and Japan is Zone 1. So from Zone 1 to Zone 6, it costs 150,000 points in low season or high season. So from Zone 1 to Zone 6, it'll cost 150,000 ANA points for a round-trip first-class ticket to Japan in both low and regular season, and then 165,000 points in high season. So for 2 people, that would have cost us 330,000 ANA points for me and my boyfriend, and I just did not have that kind of points. So with Virgin Atlantic, you can actually book a round trip first class ticket on ANA for 120,000 points originating from central US. So since I'm based in St. Louis, it's really easy for me to drive to Chicago. It's like 4.5 hours, or like a 1 hour flight to Chicago and then fly out of Chicago to Tokyo. 2 round trip tickets in first class through Virgin Atlantic on ANA would only cost me 240,000 points, which with my 166,000 American Express points, I could top it off with Chase points because both Chase and American Express can transfer into Virgin Atlantic. So I transferred my points from American Express to Virgin Atlantic, and then I transferred my points from Chase to top it off in order to get the 240,000 points to book these 2 round-trip first-class tickets. But I'm going to share with you the problems that I encountered when making this booking. Booking award flights is really more complicated than it needs to be, and it was really frustrating, and trust me when I say patience is key. Now, I am not personally a very patient person, but this process had made me become very, very patient. So in order to find award availability on ANA, it's actually the best to use United Mileage Plus award search tool. So United Airlines is actually part of the Star Alliance, and so is ANA. And that is why you can actually search for award availability on ANA through United. Virgin Atlantic, their award search tool isn't really great, so it's best to use United. And I'll show you here. So I'm gonna sign into my United account. So in order to search for award availability on ANA, you have to select round trip. And then after that, you have to select the airports and then select your dates. Now you have to make sure you're only searching for one person at a time. So for me, I was trying to find 2 tickets, but I only input 1 because if you put more than 1, then it won't show you any availability. So the reason why you need a lot of patience to do this is because you'll have to go day by day to see if there's first class or even business class availability, and this site takes forever to load. I had to go day by day pretty much for the entire month of April because I was planning to go to Japan in April or early May to see the cherry blossoms. I wasn't actually going to go for the Olympics. So I went through the entire month of April, and then the only first class availability that I found was on April 21st, flying out of Chicago O'Hare. Mind you, I searched every single airport. I searched San Fran, I searched San Jose, I searched Houston, JFK, Seattle, etc., etc. And the only tickets that I found first class were flying out of Chicago, which I was shocked that I even found that. There were 3 available. Here it'll only say 1 available because I already made the booking. There were 3 seats available in first class on ANA flying out of Chicago O'Hare to Tokyo on April 21st. So I saw that and I selected it, and then I went to try to find a return trip in first class on ANA back to O'Hare. Now, my travel, I was planning to stay in Japan for about a week or a week and a half max. And so I was looking a week out, and then I searched every day from like April 28th onward, and I found nothing. Absolutely zero, nada, nothing. Needless to say, I was super frustrated because I found tickets going there, but nothing coming back. There was no first class available coming back to any US airport. And trust me when I say I've spent hours. I spent countless hours searching, and I couldn't find any first class award availability. So then I tried to find business class award availability, and still I found nothing within that time frame. So then I started expanding even further. The only return flight in first class that I found was May 19th, coming back from Tokyo to Houston International. And as much as I would love to take a 1-month vacation to Japan, I cannot afford it. So I had to suck it up and try to find either business or economy coming back. Now, what I thought I found was 2 available business class seats as shown here. That was not it. This does not mean 2 available business class seats. And this is going from Tokyo to LAX. I thought since it was like 1 seat available in the Saver and 1 seat available in the Award, I thought that meant 2 tickets in business class that was available from Tokyo to LAX. So it was on May 6th, which is like 2 weeks plus a couple days, which is longer than I intended to, but I still thought, why not? If it's available, I'll take it. So then I phoned up Virgin Atlantic and I gave them the specific dates and the flights, and the representative told me there was nothing available. He confirmed that there were the first class available going out of O'Hare, but he said there was nothing available coming back to LAX in business class. It's incredibly frustrating. So then I continued my search, and I was searching and searching and searching, and then I found another first class availability flying out of San Francisco to Tokyo. And then I found availability from Tokyo back to San Francisco on May 5th. So leaving from San Fran to Tokyo on April 21st and then coming back May 5th. So I found that availability, and then I went on ANA's website, which was my first mistake. I went on ANA's website to see if that was actually available, and there was actually 2 seats available in first class round trip. On an award, I saw that availability, and I know these award seats book up fast, so I instantly, without hesitation, transferred my points from American Express, all of my points from American Express, I transferred it to Virgin Atlantic, topped that off with my Chase points. So I transferred about 166,000 American Express points and 50,000 Chase points to get the 240,000 points required for 2 round-trip first-class tickets. And then I phoned up Virgin Atlantic, told them the dates. I was so excited. And then they go, "I'm sorry, Mom, there's no availability." You know in those cartoons where the cartoon characters just standing there so excited, and then a giant anvil just comes plopping down on them? Yeah, that's how I felt at that exact moment. Because I had already transferred all these points, and you can't untransfer the points. You're pretty much stuck. I was very mad. And the take-home point from that is wait and don't transfer your points so fast. And or call Virgin Atlantic first when you find these award availabilities, and then have them hold your award seats, because they can actually hold it for 48 hours. And then after you confirm that there are seats available with Virgin Atlantic, then you can transfer your points so you don't make the same mistakes as I did. So since I had already transferred my points, I asked them to hold the award seats from Chicago to Tokyo on April 21st, and then I just kept on trying to find a return flight. So I finally was like, okay, I'll just fly back in economy then, because I'd rather go there in first class so that I'm more comfortable and I can sleep and prevent the jet lag going there rather than coming back. So coming back in economy is whatever, I'm fine with it. I don't know if it's just me, it's probably just me, but I always feel like the flight back to the US is a lot faster than the flight going to Asia. I don't know, I'm weird. But anyway, so then I started looking for economy seats, and even that was hard to find. So there was nothing available between April 28th and May 4th. The only availability I found in economy was on May 5th, and there were only 2 award seats available on ANA. So then I called up Virgin Atlantic and asked them to hold that too. And so I had 48 hours to complete the booking. So in those 48 hours, I had to confirm all my travel plans with my boyfriend, with myself, with my schedulers to make sure that everything is okay. And since I confirmed everything, I called them back this morning and completed the booking. So it's official, guys. My boyfriend and I are gonna go to Tokyo in April of 2020, first class on ANA Airlines, and then coming back in May in economy on ANA. On the bright side, I'll get to test out both their first class and their economy product, so I'm not too upset about it. But also, this booking only cost me 185,000 Virgin Atlantic miles for 2 people. So for both my boyfriend and my ticket, it was a total of 185,000 Virgin Atlantic miles. I still have 35,000 Virgin Atlantic miles left, and those miles don't expire for 36 months, so I'm sure I'll find a way to use those up before then. But for 185,000 miles, traveling there in first class is definitely worth it. So here's a quick recap of what it actually cost me to make this booking. My American Express Platinum card has an annual fee of $550. The American Express Gold card has an annual fee of $250. And the Chase Sapphire Preferred card has an annual fee of $95. So all together, that's $895 in annual fees. The 2 round-trip tickets on ANA through Virgin Atlantic cost me 185,000 miles, which, as you can see in this column, I got 75,000 points from American Express on the Platinum and 50,000 points on the American Express on the Gold. And then the Chase, I got 60,000 points, and that totals to 185,000 points exactly. So when you book these award flights with Virgin Atlantic, you still have to pay the taxes and fuel surcharges that ANA charges. So for my 2 round-trip tickets, Virgin Atlantic had to charge me $535.70 for taxes and fees. However, my American Express Platinum gives me $200 annually for airline fee credits, and the American Express Gold, I get $100 in annual fee credits. So this year I actually used up both of those, which lowers the effective annual fee. So in total, what I actually paid for this booking, the $895 in annual fee, plus the $535 in taxes and fees, minus my $300 travel credit, is $1,131. So basically, my 2 tickets in first class to Japan and economy class coming back from Japan cost me a grand total of $1,131 and 185,000 points. So out of my own pocket, I only had to pay $1,131. That's the price of a normal economy class round trip ticket to Asia. So as you can see here, a round trip ticket in economy flying the exact same flights on ANA that I booked out of Chicago and coming back to Chicago costs $817 round trip in economy for one person. So for 2 people, it would have cost $1,634. That's how much I would have had to pay out of pocket if I didn't get any credit cards and if I didn't use any points and miles. And if you look here, this is how much it would have cost to book this one-way flight in first class on ANA from Chicago to Tokyo on the exact same flight that I just booked. $13,873 for one person, or $27,746 for 2 people. A round-trip ticket in first class would have cost $21,281 for one person, or $42,000 for 2 people. That is outrageous. That's more than the cost of 2 brand new cars. I don't know about you, but I would never even fathom to pay that kind of money for a first class ticket. So let's just say that $13,000 is the cost of our plane ticket in first class to Tokyo and economy class coming back. So for 2 people, let's just say that's $26,000. That is 15 cents per point because it only cost me 185,000 points to book this trip. 15 cents per point is outrageous. So I know Ask Sebi likes to use more realistic valuations. Let's just say this itinerary only costs $5,000 total round trip. For 185,000 miles, that would still be 5.4 cents per point, which is still amazing. So overall, I have to say I don't think I'll be trying for first class again in the future. And I might be a little premature in saying this since I haven't actually taken the flight there yet, and I might change my mind later. But the hassle of trying to find award availability, the flexibility you have to have in order to book these award seats, and the patience that you have to have in order to find these award seats, it's incredibly frustrating. And I must say, it might not be the best use of my time. So I can multitask, but like when I'm like really focused on trying to find an award seat, it's really hard for me to like have something playing in the background whilst searching for awards. And that's why there are sites like Expert Flyer or like Juicy Miles that take all that out and they pretty much do it for you. But I didn't really want to pay for these services, so that's why I was just doing it myself. And I don't think I will pay for these services in the future. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I find more value in staying at really nice hotels than to have a super nice flight going there. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but maybe not. So we'll see. But for me, for now, I think I'm going to just keep on using my Chase setup to keep earning points to book hotel nights at the Hyatt. And did I mention that our hotel nights will also be free when we go to Tokyo? I'll get into that in a later video. And that's all that I have for you guys today. So, like I said, I'm going to travel to Japan in first class and then come back in economy. And in a later video, I'll show you guys how I'm going to book all my hotels and our travel plans for Japan. But since it's in 2020, I have a few more trips in between. I'm going to Cancun soon in early November, and I might be going to New York also later in November, and then also to Florida in December. Lots of trips coming up, so stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching.